Hello and welcome, YouTube. It is I, Domiko L. Cunningham, better known as Dr. Media. So, what's going on this week? Well, as you can see in the background, I've been playing a lot of Shadow Warrior 2 and get your wang on. Am I right? Am I right? I'm right. I know I'm right. Right? Get your wang on. Anyway, some things are happening here on the channel. So I've been doing this YouTube kind of thing for quite a bit of time, and I have loved the YouTube community that I've built. Now I already know. I already know. This sounds like one of those goodbye, farewell, so long type of things, but it's not that. I promise you, it is not that. We are expanding here at Phoenix Inceptions Media, which is the parent company of which all this works underneath. So here at Phoenix Inceptions Media, we are expanding out into other things. This time, at the beginning of 2016, we talked a lot about where I was taking the channel to, doing more hardware things, doing more software things, and doing more reviews and things of that nature, and getting into the training and stuff like that. We've done a bit of that this year, right? We've done a bit of that this year, but I really want to ramp that up starting in 2017. I'm not just saying that with a blind kind of, oh, we're gonna do it better and bigger and everything else, and just believe me. No, we're starting. We've already pushed out two brand new pieces of social media. One of them being Twitch. Now you can find Dr. Media on Twitch. I will be on Twitch underneath my gamer handle, which is DMONPHX. So it's still a Phoenix. It's still a Phoenix, but Dr. Media will be streaming on Twitch. And what I'll be doing on Twitch is, if you do not know about Twitch Creative is really meant for the creators. It's meant for the people like myself that love to bring you the videos, bring you all the training stuff. It's meant for us. So Twitch Creative, I'll be doing a segment on Twitch Creative, and I'll give you the days of that in the next video that we do for next week. But we'll be setting up and doing a lot of stuff with 3D modeling and showing the process of VR and all these other things. I'm actually involved in a lot of different processes right now. Actually working on a VR application and some other VR things. So really want to get into that. Doing a little bit of UX and UI design as well. So kind of bringing those things to you and letting you know what those things look like, and kind of, how do you do that stuff? How do you make all this stuff happen? Now at the same time, we haven't forgotten all the people that really love the videos that we do with like OnCloud and FreeNAS. And actually FreeNAS just had an update, so if you haven't gotten your update, FreeNAS just updated to version 10. Now I will honestly say I have not done the upgrade or the update to the newest version of FreeNAS, because I don't like to be an outlier. I want to wait for a while, let some of the bugs get out, make sure everything is copacetic before I change my entire digital storage life. Because losing my FreeNAS NAS box would be detrimental to my health. So I want to make sure everything is running good before I do that. Now, some of the projects I've been working on here lately is actually putting Steam machines in every room of the Phoenix compound here, as it were, and also working on some Android connectivity. In the past, I've shown how I've used Kodi and connected Kodi with a database, and now we've switched that up, and all of the set-top, basically the set-top boxes that we use now are all Android set-top boxes. So they have all the power of Android and the power of Kodi, which I think is a great thing. When we're actually going to start selling those, we're setting up a store. So that's one more thing that's coming right now from Phoenix. We'll be setting up a store, which is the Phoenix Snow store. Now, you might be like, what's Snow? Well, Snow is something new on Wednesday. So on Wednesdays, we'll be posting a new item, whether it's videos for sale, whether it is hardware for sale, or things of that nature. And then we're also going to do a little bit of talking about benchmarks coming in 2017. We're going to be doing more stuff with benchmarks. I just recently upgraded the main Phoenix Chaos machine has just now taken a new video card upgrade, and it's been upgraded to an RX 380 with 4 gigs of RAM. It's one of the Asus Strix, and I went with the Asus because the even for this older server, or workstation rather, for this older workstation, the workstation is using an Asus board, and I was like, you know what? Hey, I got a really great deal on this Asus Strix card. I'm gonna pair it with that, and yeah, it is PCI 2.0. It's not PCI 3. So yeah, people are gonna tell me, oh, you're not getting all the performance out of it. Well, you got to remember, the main thing of this workstation is to be just that, a workstation. So I'm creating digital 3D content on it. I really didn't build this machine to play games. But the caveat to that, and this is the thing that's really cool, is that with the brand new install, reinstall Windows 10, everything's tuned up. So with installing Windows 10 and getting a new 380, the R9 380, and I'm planning on getting two RX 480s to replace the aging R9 280s that are in the Chaos rig, that are in the Phoenix Steam, the original Steam machine rig. So I've got two R9 280s that are going to come out of that because they're running in Crossfire, and I'm going to replace those with two RX 480s, probably the 8 gig version, so I have basically 16 gigs of video memory, and that's all for playing video games. There's no productivity software at all installed on that Steam machine. It is all for playing games. 16 gigs of RAM and those two Crossfire cards are all for gaming. There's no productivity on it at all. So that's part of the other thing. The other thing that I really wanted to talk about and kind of boast out there for the news that's come out here lately, it's always been this NVIDIA versus AMD versus NVIDIA. I think that AMD is starting to close the gap for many people, and that goes in. This leads me into talking about the new RX, the R9 380 that I bought for the workstation rig here, leads me to talk about the news from AMD. AMD has finally made some strides in the way of, one, having a streaming overlay application. If you're an AMD user, you need to go out, not now, but right now, and get the brand new Crimson drivers from AMD, because they include something which is fantastic. It is the AMD Relive API. And what does this thing do? Well, if you are familiar with NVIDIA and Shadowplay, Relive is realistically exactly what Shadowplay is for NVIDIA. But the Relive software, it also lets you choose the bit rate of your audio, which is something that the NVIDIA Shadowplay does not let you do. And it's pretty slick. It's pretty seamless. I'm actually very happy with it. It lets you stream your games to things like Twitch. It lets you stream to YouTube right inside the application, which is amazing. It lets you archive the footage, so if you do want to do things like that. But it also lets you do overlays. You can actually set an overlay inside of the Relive software and be able to set your teams or your channel, whatever your overlay graphic is, and set that to the corner. You can set a system specs overlay. You can even do a camera and do that overlaid into it. It's really cool that AMD has kind of brought this new software out and given it to its fans. I think AMD has done a really good job in the last couple of months of taking ownership of some of the deficiencies that were AMD Catalyst. AMD Catalyst was, in this modern age, the user interface was horrible, the user experience was horrible, and I think that they have done a phenomenal job in making a very modern user experience and user interface with the Radeon Crimson drivers. Not to mention they actually have the Wattman software, which they've started using, which is their new overclocking software, and with also with the new Crimson drivers, with the Relive Crimson drivers, you also get access to AMD's new technology, which is their chill technology, which is very interesting because it throttles down the power consumption of your video card when your mouse is not moving. So it's basically looking at movement of mouse, and if the mouse starts to slow down, it will throttle down the power draw from the video card, which is an interesting technology because people have always ragged AMD on being, super inefficient and super hot and all those things like that, which, most AMD video cards and their CPUs on the desktop side, they do run sometimes much harder than Intel and NVIDIA based solutions. Now, what's very interesting is that AMD has done a really good job on the server market. Now, they don't have as big of a server market share, I think, as Intel does, but I actually have a couple of my rendering servers that I use to render with. They are AMD Opteron based. And those things, I've got 4 of those blades, and they are basically 12 cores apiece. So I've got effectively 48 cores worth of rendering power with 32 gigs of RAM for each one of those machines. And those things, those server grade AMD chips are only running on 350 watt power supplies, which is to me kind of amazing. Now they are clocked at 1.9 gigahertz. They're not super fast. They're not super fast, but the fact that they are that low power that I'm able to run 2 of those, getting 24 threads, 32 gigs of RAM, 128 gig hard drives, and all of that in a 1U case, in a 1U kind of case, with only drawing 350 watts, that's pretty amazing. Because the 48 cores of processing power that gives me is basically running is realistically using about 1400 watts. Some gaming machines by themselves can pull 1400 watts from the wall, and that's just for one gaming machine. And these machines are really meant to render, so I can use them for rendering and things of that nature. So some really cool things going on with AMD right now. Leave if you like the kind of things that we're doing on this channel and you like the fact that we're expanding. So like I said, we're expanding to Twitch. You can find me underneath my gamer tag on Twitch, which is DMONPHX. So Demon Phoenix on Twitch, and then we also have the Twitter feed. And let me pull up our tweeter here. So on Twitter, you can find me at DRD Media. So on Twitter, you can find me at DRD Media. So you can follow me on Twitter, leave likes or leave stuff to follow us. Let us know what you think about how we're doing here on Twitter. We're starting to get some traction on here. So I'm really loving the new changes that we're making and pushing forward with a lot more social media integration. So like I say, Twitter is a part of that. You can find me at DRD Media, at DRD Media on Twitter, and you can find me at Demon PHX, DMONPHX on Twitter, and on not on Twitter, but on Twitch. Too many T's. It's too many social media things with T's on it. Twitter, Toast, Tinkles, it's all this stuff. But get ready for the next phase of Phoenix Inceptions Media, and I am Domiko L. Cunningham, better known as Dr. Media. Catch you guys later.